All right, this the news, this the news, this the news. This is the news. Things are going really crazy in South Africa. We're going to discuss it. Come on in, come on in. Things are crazy in South Africa. The South African government is pretty much putting people out of South Africa. Yes, you heard it right. The South Africans are putting other Africans out of their country, and it's being done in a rough and violent manner. They gave the people a warning to leave, and they didn't. And things are wild. Let's look at it. South Africa is currently experiencing a wave of widespread organized anti-immigrant protests demanding the mass deportation of undocumented foreign nationals. Activists spearheaded by groups like March and March, Operation Dudula, and United South Africa allege that migrants contribute to high unemployment, crime, and the collapse of public services. Ongoing protests and vigilante actions, coordinated anti immigrant demonstrations began in late June 2026, peaking with tens of thousands marching in major cities. Protesters set a deadline for undocumented foreigners to leave South Africa and have Johannesburg's Alexandra and Soweto evicting suspected undocumented migrants and handing them over to the police, while leaders instruct participants to remain peaceful. These actions have sown deep fear and caused significant intimidation, with some protesters devolving into looting and mob violence against foreign owned businesses. The South African government says more than 53,000 foreign nationals have been deported or repatriated since launching a migration management campaign 5 weeks ago. Most were from Malawi, Zimbabwe, and Mozambique, officials say, and the number is likely to rise as repatriations and deportations continue. South Africa is carrying out one of its biggest crackdowns on undocumented migrants in years, following weeks of anti immigration protests that have seen violence, intimidation, and looting. Protesters have been demanding tighter border controls and mass deportations, accusing migrants of contributing to high unemployment, rising crime rates, and collapse of public services. The UN has warned against using migrants as scapegoats for South Africa's socioeconomic challenges. Anti migrant activists have threatened to stage weekly protests to pressure the government until their demands are met, and there are fears the protests could turn violent. The demonstrators had set an unofficial deadline of 30 June for all undocumented migrants to leave the country, which has seen many foreigners have to escape violence and intimidation. Several countries, including Ghana, Nigeria, Uganda, and Kenya, have flown their citizens home in recent weeks. South Africa is experiencing a wave of widespread anti migrant protests demanding the departure of undocumented foreign nationals. Demonstrators argue that migrants contribute to high crime rates, burden public services, and take local jobs. The protests have led to significant displacement, with tens of thousands of individuals repatriated to Malawi, Zimbabwe, and other neighboring countries. Nationwide demonstrations and deadlines, coordinated protests organized by civil society coalitions and local groups such as March and Operation Dudula took place in major cities like Johannesburg, Durban, and surrounding townships. Demonstrators issued an unofficial deadline for undocumented migrants to leave the country, while organizers have largely called for peaceful demonstration. The tension has resulted in violent incidents, looting of foreign owned shops, and mass unrest. Door to door raids and humanitarian concerns. The protests have escalated, with demonstrators going door to door in areas like Johannesburg, Alexandra Township, breaking into homes to search for undocumented immigrants and hand them over to police. Human rights groups like NGOs, including Doctor Without Borders, have issued warnings about the growing humanitarian needs of those displaced. Foreigners have faced intense intimidation, prompting tens of thousands of people to flee to transit camps or arrange emergency repatriation. At least four people were unalive during violent anti migrant protests across South Africa that peaked in late June and early July. Demonstrators set an unofficial deadline of June 30th for undocumented foreigners to leave the country, leading to widespread looting, business closures, and clashes in cities like Durban and Johannesburg. The unrest, driven by high unemployment and economic frustration, prompted neighboring countries such as Nigeria, Malawi, and Ghana to repatriate thousands of their citizens following the violence. South African police arrested more than 900 individuals. Nigeria said Sunday that two of its nationals were unalived last month in South Africa following violent anti immigrant protests targeting African workers in the country. The Nigerians were unalived June 28th, 2 days before an unofficial deadline by protesters for foreigners to leave. The Nigerian Ministry of Foreign Affairs said one was allegedly unalived by police officers and the other by unidentified attackers, it said. South African police did not immediately respond to a request for comment from the Associated Press. Anti immigrant protesters in April and May blamed foreigners for high levels of unemployment, crime, and pressure on public services. The violence at the protests and attacks on Africans prompted Nigeria, Ghana, and Malawi to repatriate their citizens and summon South African diplomats. These two unalivings come at a time when foreigners are being unduly targeted in South Africa. This raises questions about deliberate attempt by some elements to wrongfully generalize and tag well meaning, hardworking, and respectable Nigerians as criminals. That's not funny. Nigerian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Kimimbi Imotimi Ebienfa said at least 5 deaths have been officially linked to the widespread anti migrant protests and xenophobic unrest through neighboring countries, report higher numbers that the South African government disputes. The unrest escalated significantly around a June 30, 2026 deadline issued by vigilante groups demanding that all undocumented foreigners leave the country. This led to more than 120 nationwide marches and a massive police and military deployment. The death toll remains highly contested between South African authorities and foreign governments. Disputed casualty numbers. Mozambican nationals, the government of Mozambique reported that 5 of its citizens were unalived in xenophobic violence in Mosul Bay. However, South African police claim only 2 Mozambicans were unalived from assaults related to the unrest. Nigerian nationals, the Nigerian Ministry of Foreign Affairs stated that 2 Nigerians were unalived. One was allegedly unalived by police during a rough interrogation, and another by unidentified attackers. South African police countered that one of the deaths was a medical collapse unrelated to the protests. Ghanaian nationals. Ghana's Ministry of Foreign Affairs condemned the fatal shooting of one Ghanaian citizen in Cape Town during the June 30 demonstration. South African authorities called the claim fabricated, stating that murder occurred a day prior and was a criminal matter unrelated to the anti foreign sentiment. Local shooting. South African police confirmed that one person was shot and unalived in Johannesburg, Alexandra Township, when a mob began shooting foreign owned shops. So let's talk about it. Um, the UN is not a government. Let's see. They trying to get us from America to come over there, please. Unity of all good black people is a must. This is just crazy. Now that's 154. Well, my mind is spinning with this. The first thing I thought about was our situation here in the United States. And foundational black Americans are delineating like the situation with the Haitians, where the United States government wants to draw out the Haitians. Foundational black Americans have nothing to do with that. But a lot of Haitians are turning their anger towards us because we don't care. That has a lot to do with what's going on in South Africa because The worst thing immigrants could do is talk crazy in a foreign country. That's going on right now here in the United States with what's going on with the Haitians, and a lot of Haitians are making a very bad mistake. They're pissing off American citizens, especially Black Americans, which is not smart. That makes it worse. Rather than just deal with the government, no, you begin to insult foundational Black Americans. Your numbers are small. You could create a situation where you will lose horribly. And so I imagine in South Africa that some of the immigrants did too much. They did too much back and forth with the South African. I'm pretty sure of that. We see it over here. Rather than hold that anger with the official government or whatever, or just don't say nothing, just try to see how it plays out. No, you start doing all of this. You start slinging insults. I know foundational Black Americans, we getting insulted quite a bit from Haitians. I'm just saying. You see how the Haitian lady called us dirty Black Americans? See, that type of stuff, that's not healthy. And then when it goes bad, then what? Because when you're an immigrant and the people from that country go at you, that country's government is not going to stop them. Like the United States is not going to be on your side. The United States police and stuff, they're not going to be on your side because when you insult foundational Black Americans here in America, a lot of police are foundational Black Americans. I'm just saying. You're insulting their families, their mothers, and you're a visitor. So you just make people hate you, basically. So this is what's going on in South Africa. People are people are going to other people's country with no respect. You see, it kept saying Nigeria. Nigerians are notorious for that. You know, typically they're very disrespectful. Not, I'm not generalizing. I'm not sure what's going on in Canada, but I know since Trump and them uh, have ended their stay here, uh, Haitians have made it worse. We definitely want them to get the hell out of here. They made way more enemies instead of the Haitians just not going online, just dealing with the United States government. They started playing with the citizens, and these black ones, they always directed at the other blacks. The Africans, the Haitians, they never directed at the white government, or they start directing that stuff at us. Good to see you, Big Z, man. We start the day, but just get the hell on out of here. And if the Haitians go too far, what are people going to say? What's human nature? You know what? All you black immigrants get out. It's human nature. You know, I don't think we like y'all. That energy goes off in the internet. I'm in the store one day. Ah, a Haitian or African gets to talking a little slick in Chicago. Mm. Once we get into one or two of you, three of you, next thing you know, you all got to run because you never thought that you're in a lose. You have no wins. Like what? It's 50 million Black Americans. Like you're just a handful of you. As Jamaicans found out in the 80s, they I don't know what I don't know what I don't know. I don't understand sometimes. And so I can imagine that South Africa was a mess. And what happens is these governments, when they go to sleep, the citizens end up invaded. This is what happened here. The government, Biden goes to sleep. Next thing you know, it's a whole bunch of Venezuelans, it's a whole bunch of Haitians, it's a whole bunch of who knows who. They begin to make our life miserable. They begin to use up our tax dollars. They don't pay any taxes. So, right there, you're not going to be liked. I've been saying they got to make immigrants pay taxes. They got to work and they have to pay taxes. If they want to open stores, they got to pay taxes. You can't let some Asian guy come over here, open a store in the black community. He doesn't have to pay no taxes, but all of the people that shop with you have to pay taxes. Eventually, if the government don't take care of it, the people are going to take the law into their own hands. I'm not condoning this. I'm just talking psychology. So don't get me twisted. I'm not condoning it. I'm just telling you this is how it's going to be, though. This is not condoning. These are facts. This is going to go bad. Here in the United States, it's going to go bad. Anybody could see it. As money gets tighter, as people get frustrated, they begin to look like, well, I'm an American. My family been here for hundreds of years. Why do you have a job and I don't? Which is an excellent question. You should not be able to come over here and cut the line. Period. That's can't happen like that. And then have an attitude. Like black Americans do not like Africans at all because the horrible experience. I told you I was stabbed up in the hospital and I had an African nurse and she was just unbelievably mean. I wasn't even in a position to be mean or nothing. I'm just in the hospital. I'm thinking you're a nurse, but you're not a nurse. You're like an African. Uh, the brother over in England, when he was in the hospital, I was checking on him. And he got into it with the Africans in England. And he's the Jamaican immigrant in England. And he said, He said, whatever you do, Rasta, don't let the Africans touch you. Seriously. The Africans and Europe and the Caribbeans, they don't get along. The Caribbeans do not like the Africans at all. Like nobody really likes the Africans. They're kind of rude and they have like a sense of entitlement or something. I don't know. I don't know. And they don't integrate. Uh, they don't integrate. They just move somewhere and just be stuck up and just be uh, just American citizens, but they don't really be Americans. It does seem some immigrants when they go to different countries, they're definitely just stealing or taking away resources because they never respect the country. And Africans are notorious for this. They're notorious for being citizens, but not really citizens. Basically, it just looks like they just taken from, they don't be Chicago citizens. They don't be Americans. They never be Americans. They just still be African. Why everybody else is an American. So nobody, the reason I'm bringing this up because I'm trying to let people in America know that whole thing is going global. That's going to be a global reality because economies are tightening up, and money's drying up. Yeah, freeloaders. And when the people from that place began to feel the pinch for money, but they see you get money and you're not from there, you begin to look like a moocher and you begin to look like you're the reason services are not efficient because you're not an American, you're a transplant and you're using up services. I was just talking to a friend of mine about that. Like, I don't like that I've had to pay taxes my whole life as soon as I was old enough to work. And I don't like people coming over here don't have to pay no taxes. I just don't like it. To me, it's just total disrespect to American citizens. And the reason the government can't do nothing about it, because people blame the government because they believe the government is getting like a payoff. The South African government got some money some kind of way, trust me. But none of that money went down to the citizens. So the citizens began to take the law into their own hands. This situation in South Africa should be an eye opener to Black Americans and Pan Africans because that is Africa. And they want Black people to get out. They want other Africans to get out. They're not doing the African thing. There's no Pan Africanism in Africa. South Africans don't honor Pan Africanism. They're South Africans and they want the other Africans to get out. There is no Pan Africanism. There is no this global unity. There's every man for itself and every group trying to provide for their homeland. And nobody's going to let you come to their homeland, have any disrespect, or take any food out their mouth. Nobody's going to let you come here and be nurses and doctors and take those jobs. We're going to get you the hell out of here. We don't want you to have those jobs. We want those jobs. We want you to go home and create those jobs at home because you're still there. With a 30% unemployment rate, you would to be crazy to not want to get rid of the illegals there. Exactly. So South Africa is in an uproar, which when those people get chased home, they're going to go and they're going to chase people out of there. So Nigerians are going to be like, you got to get out. Everybody is going to go home and they're going to want whoever's there to get out. Because when these people go back home, they're going to need jobs and they're not going to want you to have jobs. Uh, and this is not going to just be black either. And so the Asians in Africa, the whites in Africa, the black Americans in Africa, they need to leave now if they're smart. The black Americans in Ghana and all those places, you need to leave. You need to leave. Because you're looking at a global money crisis, and money's going to be tight globally. It just is what it is. It's just what it is. And the reputation of especially black immigrants, they have a nasty reputation. I mean, you did it to yourself. Jamaica's been kind of cool, but Jamaica's by the time you got to the 80s, it was kind of cool in the early 70s, the early 80s, but by the time you got to the late 80s and the 90s, the Jamaicans were horrible by then. They destroyed the whole reggae scene and everything and really killed the Pan African culture and came with the strictly Jamaican dance hall culture, which made things worse because you're not talking no unity or nothing like that. So we think it's time for you to go. Uh, this town ain't big enough for the both of us. It's the one thing that Jamaica's had was Pan Africanism, and then once you just a Jamaican and you in Chicago, Jamaica this and Jamaica that, everybody gonna be like, take your ass home. Once you in South Africa, you talking about Nigeria, Nigeria, Ghana, that, everybody gonna be like, well, go back home, go home. In South Africa, the South Africans saying the only black people that came there without not doing that was black Americans. Black Americans are the only ones that came to South Africa, got jobs, started business with other black South Africans, and you know, intertwined into that. We don't run around Chicago, Chicago, Chicago. We're not gonna go nowhere talking about America, I'm America, I'm America. We don't do that. We don't do that. But what does happen is blacks put us down for being American. Africans are notorious for looking down on black brothers and sisters for being American. They want to call us slaves and all of that. I can't tell you what we want to do. In this situation, when I've seen this situation, I am talking about it globally because this is the premiere of this situation. It's definitely going to be global. And I've said it all the time. Africans are horrible based on the fact that in the 80s, it was taught that was the motherland. And so people had the effort that the Africans was like the originators, right? And everybody else is a part of that. And so when you start meeting nasty Africans, it destroys the whole image of Mother Africa because you're like, oh, she ain't no good mother. And so Africans never took advantage of Pan Africanism, right? And and became good brothers and sisters to the rest of the black people around the world. They don't like them nowhere. They don't like Africans in Jamaica nowhere. Nowhere do anybody like Africans. Nobody likes Africans. And the crazy thing is, they won't even be Africans. That's why they got to get out of South Africa, because they won't even be African. He's like, Nigerian, Nigerian. And you're like in South Africa, hollering that you're a Nigerian, Nigerian, Nigerian. They're the worst. Nigerian, 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 Nigerian. I had somebody ask me, do I dislike Nigerians? Ask me, do Nigerians like me? It's the, that's, you understand? When the question is, do I like Nigerians? But there's no question about Nigerians liking us. What's up with that? Do Nigerians like us? No. They're nasty. And so if you're nasty, how could you say I don't like you? Unbelievable. How are you nasty, uh, unlikable, and then ask me why I don't like you when you're nasty at you? What is there to like? Like, and try to make it like it's me. Won't take no accountability that you suck. Nobody likes Nigerians. Nobody in Africa. Nobody nowhere in the world. Because they have gone around the world with a nasty attitude. They haven't been good brothers and sisters or nothing. They like bloodsuckers. I'm talking about not from my point of view. I'm talking from my observation. I give you an example. You got Jamaicans in the late 70s, early. They come to America and stuff, and they start pushing all black people is the same, right? So they started this Pan African reggae movement. You know the main blacks that never joined in that? Africans. Africans never, facts, joined into the all black people Pan African movement. It's so bad that Rastas praise and look up to Emperor Haile Selassie. Ethiopians never joined in. Ethiopians, they, you can't make this up. Rastas was in America having this Pan African movement that centered around Ethiopia. The Ethiopians didn't respond at all. And it was their king was the symbolism at the head of it. Not only they didn't respond, when the Rastas went to Ethiopia, the Ethiopians robbed them, beat them up, did all. Check, the Rastas had to leave. I remember being at a reggae show and the Ethiopian come to my table. He see pictures of Haile Selassie. He said, "Why do you like our king?" The way he said it, I was tripped out. I was like, "Why you don't like your own king? Punk, get out of the way, Boy, you know where you at? You in L.A. Boy, you was not in Addis Ababa. Don't be questioning me like I'm your son or nothing like that. Why you don't like your own king?" The way he said it is why Africans don't have a chance here. Because answer a question like that to foundational Black America, that's smoke right off the top. We don't do that weird way y'all do. It was a festival, so I couldn't, mess up the festival. I'm just saying, dude, you know where you at? Like, bro, you're a nobody over here, okay? Go home. Go home. If you're such a great Ethiopian, take your ass back to Ethiopia, please. And so that black unity, Africa's never promoted it. So of course it's going to be xenophobia. Because as I say, Mother Africa is a horrible mother. She don't take care of her children. She's horrible. And so Africa is going to have a lot of problems. This situation in South Africa, people are getting on rafts, anything to leave because the South Africans are not playing. They're going from home to home. They're going from business to business looking for them. And they're not looking for them to shake their hand. And this is, I'm not promoting this. This is what's going on. I don't have anything to do with it. But just imagine that continental Africans have wore out their welcome in South Africa and have wore out their welcome here in the United States. Like we want them to go home. Like we can't wait till they get deported. Haitians too. I can't wait till I can't wait till they throw the Haitians out. Which makes me even more angry because that's not nothing I've ever been about. I've never been about the police getting you. So I just show you how bad it is. That somebody that used to be really pushing Pan Africanism is cheering for the police to throw out blacks. That's how bad blacks have acted in other people's countries. That bad. Especially Africans. The Africans are disgusting. No wonder Africans don't control none of their natural resources and is broke, even though they in a country that has the potential to be the richest in the world. That's why Africans got to go to other people's countries because they suck. There's no way you're in a country that's got the most natural resources and your ass is dusty and broke running to somebody else's country with your chest poked out, but you can't mine your own natural minerals or nothing. How the hell you left Nigeria with all the natural resources in Nigeria, all that oil and stuff, and you come over here bit crawling around looking for a job, and you sitting on trillions and trillions of dollars of oil, and you too stupid to get it out the ground yourself. You let Shell and them come and just when the Shell and them what came to Nigeria, they didn't get the oil out the ground like they do in white countries. Oh no, they didn't show them no respect. I'm telling you. When they went to Africa to get the oil out the ground in Nigeria, man, listen, they didn't show them no respect. You hear me? They didn't even try to get it out the ground in a decent way. You know what I'm saying? So you over here with your chest all poked out, look how they did them. Look how they did the Nigerians. But the Nigerians come over here with their chests all poked out. And look, but ain't nothing but some punks in Nigeria. You know what I'm saying? Take your punk ass home. You know what I'm saying? You walking around, ah. But when the people come over there, they just treat you like you ain't nothing. Cause you Nigerians shouldn't even have to leave with all this oil. And look how they getting out of it. Look how oil everywhere. Look, you know if this was a white country, you know those pipes would be under the ground. Really nice, done really nice. It'd be some better materials, some stronger pipes, all of that. Look, you can see oil is everywhere. This Nigeria. They like the hell with y'all. They just taking their oil. Not even in a decent way. And then you walk around with your chest poked out. All down in South Africa. Look at Nigeria. But you in South Africa. You in America. You know. Haiti the same way. You come talking about some dirty Americans from Haiti. Seriously. And so this situation is definitely gonna get worse. It's gonna be worse and worse and worse and worse. And Africa's just gonna be a big old war zone. They're gonna let them have their little tribal wars so they can steal everything while they're fighting each other. They're just gonna set them up. You're going to see mass deportations of Africa. Africa is being thrown out of the US, Canada, all over Europe, all over the Caribbean. They're gonna throw Africans out over the next 5 years. Yeah, they're gonna throw them out of every country. They're gonna throw them out. Watch. All them jobs they got, they're gonna lose all them doctors and all that. Like here in Chicago, they gotta go. They're gonna have to go. Because the people here are gonna say, listen, get them the hell out of here and hire us. That was gonna happen. If I go out in Chicago and I have a bad experience with you and you're a Nigerian or you some type of African, and then I go to the hospital, see you in the hospital, I'm gonna go to the administrators and say, you gotta get them out of here. We're going to go to our news sources and have our rallies, and we're going to start rallying to get you the hell out of here. Nobody's going to let you come to their homeland and disrespect them. It's not going to happen. You're going to have to get out. And so black immigrants are going to get kicked out of every country. It ain't going to be it ain't going to be hardly no people from no other country nowhere unless you really are really good at your job and high up where the government specifically helps you. Other than that, the people going to run everybody back. Everybody going to have to go back to where they came from because of the disrespect. Much respect to my brother. The disrespect. I don't understand it. Yeah, they want that. Yeah, all over Europe, Ireland, England, Italy, France, all over. Y'all support the channel, like my brother Drew. Much love, Drew. Always looking out. Now, this is not hate, because I don't promote hate. But if hate is in the news, right? You see, don't get me wrong. Part of the global news is hate. You understand? I wanted to get that clear. I'm not promoting not liking anybody. I'm telling you, people already don't like them. The reputation of Africans has been going down for the last 15 years. This is why This is why black people start identifying as foundational black Americans. See, nobody want to talk about that. This is why black people totally are disassociating themselves with Africa in any kind of way. The whole back to Africa, the whole we came from Africa, black people are like, no, I'm Native American. We don't want to be associated with you. So we start looking into our lineage closer and start really realizing we're our own creation. That we got some DNA, but we not Africans because we got that DNA because we got all kind of Native American DNA, all kind of indigenous DNA. We got all type of South American DNA. We're closer to South Americans than Africans. And we don't have a bad relationship to Brazilians and them like that. To be honest with you, like Hispanic, Mexicans been acting a little crazy, but the other Hispanics, we don't really have a bad relationship with Hispanics. They're cooler than Africans. Hey, I'm telling you, as a black person, the Hispanics, the one that's like really indigenous. Some of the ones that's more Spanish, more European, they weird. But the ones that's more indigenous, we we I put it like this: we don't have no relationship with them because they stay out the way. You know, so we're safe to say we like them because we don't have no relationship with them because they doing them. They doing them and we doing us. So we don't really clash. We don't clash with them. They don't bother us. They don't look down at us. They're just busy doing what they doing. Very nice people, way nicer than the Africans. I mean, I'd marry a Hispanic, an indigenous woman from South America. I would never marry no African woman because I get along with the indigenous uh, uh, people from South and Central America. They cool as hell. Like even in L.A., the Mexicans was cool as hell. There was not no beef between the Mexicans. The beef was the Mexican gangs was beefing with the other gangs, and that kind of bled over a little bit. But the Mexicans has always been cool as hell. I've been to Mexico, and they cool. They super cool and super polite. Hispanic people are very, very, very polite. The females are very greeting, and the males are very polite. They like the old school black people. They don't they don't do no ghetto. They don't do no disrespect. They my friend. They cool as hell. I ain't gonna lie. The Africans is not cool. They're not cool. They chill and they just want to be left alone. They don't want to mix up. When we mix up, cool. But they don't want to mix up. They just want to be Argentinians or they just want to be Nicaraguans. They are private people. That's the best way to put it. They're private. They stay off to themselves, but not in a racial way. They don't stay up to themselves in a racial way. They stay up to themselves in a cultural way. I like my friends that do my tires on my car. They some Mexicans, and they just Mexicans, and they just do Mexican stuff. But they're 100% professional. They never frowning at you. They never treat you like a third class citizen. You pull up, they own that car quick. They put that tire on that car, and they say thank you, and they smile, and then they do the next car. That's it. No hate. That's why they over there on South Chicago in the black community doing everybody car. You know what I'm saying? Because they cool as hell. But they just private. They're not fake grabbing you into they're not doing that. But they in the black community. And I'm gonna tell you, they take care of us. They take care of us. Facts. They take care of you. No hate nowhere. It's like that. That's a good question. It's like that because that's their culture, even amongst themselves. So they treat everybody the same way they treat themselves. In other words, Mr. Moore, they have a certain way they act, and they always act like that. They don't change. They act like this, and that's just what it is. The only time you can find something different is if they like in a cartel, some illegal stuff like that. But other than that, the regular people, they just don't get out their body. Indigenous people that we call Hispanic, they don't they don't get out their body. They just stay the same. They just stay how they are. This how they are, and they stay like that. Even to the point, if they're in the black community and some black person come and act a fool and they tell them how to leave, that will not bleed over to the next black person. Facts. They won't look at him as black people. They just look at him as him. That's the difference with their culture. If I go in there and act a fool, and the way they live is I'm a fool, they will not put you on my ticket. Why do Africans act like that? Because Africans is fucked up. You gotta understand, Africans are one soul slaves. And Africans is tribal. You gotta understand that South Americans are not tribal. They deal with their country, but they not tribal. Africans are tribal. You understand? Africans stay tribal. Blacks don't want to unite. What you mean blacks? When you say blacks, what do you mean? You got to express yourself. When you say blacks, you mean black people from all over the world? Because black Americans, we united. Let me ask you something. Are black Americans united? Yes or no? Yes or no? Are black Americans from one side of the country to the other? Would you say we're united or not? Yes or no? Let me see if you're real or you phony. Are black Americans all across this country, are black Americans united? Yes or no? Because I don't believe you're a black American. I believe you're a spy or something weird. That ain't what I asked you. See the trickery? I asked you a simple question. Are black Americans united? I didn't ask you was blacks united. I asked you, are black Americans united? Yes or no? He's some kind of black immigrant. You see the difference? You see? You can't work with wherever he's from, you can't work with him because he does not want to tell the truth about us, but he wants to pretend we the hater. But wherever he's from, he don't like the country next door. Yeah, let me get him out of here. All right, listen. Yeah, goodbye. Yeah, he's some kind of black immigrant, and wherever he's from, the other ones live next to him. He don't like them. You know what I'm saying? I blocked him. He wasn't gonna be. He wasn't gonna tell the truth. He said not with other blacks. But then that's a trick answer because what about other blacks liking other blacks? Because we just showing you how the blacks in South Africa don't like each other. You see? You see what I'm saying? But he will not address what's going on with blacks in South Africa, which has nothing to do with us. He don't like us. And we don't never want to go to his country, but we definitely want him to get the fuck out of the United States if he's here. We want him out of here. And he's gonna go. We're gonna get him out of here. We're gonna because all his people, we're gonna get you out of here. And that's why we want to get all these other blacks out of here. Because they can't manage their people. For foundational black Americans, the only people we can't manage is gangs. But foundational black Americans, we're very friendly towards each other. Very much so. We're very much so unite each other. We have been having the Africans come trying to steal Essence Fest. But we ain't went to no Essence Fest or none of our black festivals. We don't be beefing. All our concerts at our house parties at the parks and beaches. We don't be doing that. The young kids that's in gangs, they be doing that, but black Americans don't be. You ain't gonna see no black Americans not like no other black Americans. We don't do that. You ain't gonna see no black Chicago tomorrow. We don't like blacks in Texas. You'll never see that. You'll never see black Americans say we don't like black Americans in New York or we don't do that. We do not. You will never see that. Never. We don't do that. We don't dislike other black people because black Americans, we ain't all in no one place. So we can't dislike over there because my cousin lived there. You know what I'm saying? What the hell? I can't, how I'm a dislike like blacks in New York. I got relatives in New York. What? We are relatives. Black Americans are relatives. A lot of people don't understand that. And we're more relatives now than ever before. You know why? Because our kids go to college. And when you send your son to college, and he's from Chicago, he go to college, he gonna start dating. He gonna date, and she might be from Texas. She might be from New Orleans. Your son ain't gonna necessarily date nobody from Chicago when he go to college. Your daughter's not gonna necessarily date no dude from Chicago. We go to colleges all over the country. We leave Chicago, we go to college in Louisiana. We go to college in Alabama. We go to colleges all over the country, especially our sons, because our sons go wherever they're going to play football at, wherever they're going to play baseball, wherever they're going to play basketball. We also have to go wherever they specialize. So if your son or daughter want to be in medicine, they going to go wherever they feel like they can get the best medical education. We don't we don't we don't beef like that. We don't beef. We don't really beef with nobody. Yeah, I know. Yeah, they be yeah. Nobody wants the African. There are two black fraternities in the U.S. and can neither wants that. Yeah, but that's fraternity dislike. That's not real. That's not that's not hate. That's a fraternity thing. They not looking. They don't. Because we don't know what fraternity you are if you don't got no fraternity clothes on. You know what I'm saying? So like us, here we don't like the Knicks. We like the Bulls. So that's the difference. That's different. We don't like the Knicks. We don't like the Knicks. We don't like no New York teams, but we'll go see Nas and Jay Z. Though we would have went to see that. It ain't like that. It's some hip hop stuff. Yeah, we on some hip hop stuff. We ain't supposed to like the other hip hop. Now the only ones that be hating here is the gang. The gangs is the only one on site. That's it. But regular black Americans, I ain't never heard of black Americans not liking nobody. Even our dislike that we beginning to have for black immigrants is from them. That don't come from us either. That come from them. They just be like I said one day. I lived down on the lake. I come down the elevators, two old black ladies, like in their 70s and 80s. And it's a young African cab driver, and he's calling them all kind of names. Some old ladies, like our elders. I swear to God. And this African man, like in his late 20s, he's cursing them so bad that he didn't even see me. I walked past him. I turned around and I touched him on the shoulder. He jumped. And look, this is the difference between Africans and me. Really, that was supposed to go, he was supposed to have been dealt with. But because we, no, no, this is why I'm trying to show you, G Rock. Because of the way we function, I touched myself, bro, don't do that. He said, oh, I said, bro, don't you see how I walked up behind you? And I told him, G Rock, I said, what if her sons was coming down to help them or something? Bro, you gonna get hurt. So I gave the brother advice. I said, bro, you can't do that here. I told him, I said, but when I touched him, he jumped. I said, dude, you can't do that here. I still tried to save the man. I said, you can't do that here. And the way I'm telling him he can't do that here, it was kind of gangster because I was like, and proof you can't do it here, do it now. You know, that was my vibe. You know, I'm looking at him, all the air, all of your energy went out. You's a bitch, really. You know what I'm saying? Because you had all of this for some old ass ladies, and now I'm telling you don't do it. And now, what happened to all that? Why you ain't tell me to mind my business? Okay. Now at that time, I didn't really know the vibe. Like over the last, 3 or 4 years, we learning the vibe of brothers and sisters from Africa. Based on what I know now and the way it's been functioning and the things Africans been saying, uh, most likely I still wouldn't have did nothing because I wouldn't have want no criminal charges just based off him running his mouth. You know what I'm saying? So you can't just be, in Chicago it's criminal charges. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't have necessarily been ready to go to. I wouldn't have necessarily been ready to go to the county jail over that. You know what I'm saying? The only way I would have want to get physical if I could beat the case, like he get physical with them or something. I could beat the case, but in Chicago, you always a young black man that's watching me wherever you're at in the United States. You always want to be able to beat the case. Stop getting unnecessary cases because you're gonna be locked up. You're gonna have to come up with bail money, and then you gotta look as was it worth it? You know what I'm saying? Now, if that would have been my grandmama or something, I would have just went off on them, but I don't think I would have put my hands on them. But I would have been a lot worse than I was. I was trying to give him advice. Now, if that was my grandma, I wouldn't have gave him no advice. I would have tested him. Yeah, I would have tested him. Not only would I have tested him, I would have took his cab number down and stuff like that. And then we would have went from there, and then he would have been marked. In other words, it would have been an all-point bulletin for him in this city. I took a picture of his car, I took his picture, and be like, listen, bro, don't let me see you again. Don't let me see you nowhere. Do not let me see you. Talking to my grandmother like that. We're going to readdress this issue. You know what I'm saying? No, he don't respect. You got to understand, they don't respect nobody else. Okay, typically. Not all the time, because I got some African friends and stuff that got stores and stuff in the black community, and they're very kind. They like brothers to me. So I'm not generalizing, but I'm telling you, he's definitely a scumbag. Because if you've seen their age and the way it was functioning, that's cultural. There's just no way that's not cultural. You understand? It's not one trying to be a problem. Plenty of Haitians, even U.S. speaking French, y'all taking it a problem. Now, you listen. We want all you Haitians out of here. Okay, we don't like you. We don't want you here. Not one of you. We want you to fuck up out of here. And the best thing you got going for you is the government. Because if it was up to us, and I'm gonna leave that there. We want you to fuck out of here. Go back to Haiti. Get out. We don't like you all at all. and we don't want you here. We have no relationship with you. You're a stranger in our country, and you don't seem to know you're on our turf. And when you make the wrong mistake, it go bad. We don't like you at all. Period. Get out. Go back to Haiti. And we cannot wait till you get deported. We cannot wait till you get deported. Period. Get the fuck out. Because the way we look at it, if a young Haitian can sit there bold like that and call us dirty black Americans, that's something y'all saying amongst each other. To me, it's a general consensus. We don't give a fuck what happened with y'all. Just get the fuck out of here. I don't care. If I knew where you was right now, I'd call ICE on myself. And we can't wait to see this lady in cuffs. And we can't wait for all you Haitians to be kicked out. I cannot wait. 2 more weeks, they'll be ready to get you the hell out of it. We can't wait. Get not all of you, but just the ones on TPS. Because all of you ain't got to go home. The rest of them that ain't got to go home, I would advise them to behave themselves. Because it's going to turn into something else. When you tell all your people, when they come to Chicago, when they come to America, they better watch their goddamn self. That's what you go tell all your relatives. Because we not ICE. And we not playing with y'all. So y'all down there in Florida doing that shit. You know what I'm saying? Y'all down there in Florida playing like that. But this Chicago. And you make that mistake up here, it's going to go bad. We don't like you Haitians. You don't bring nothing to the table. We don't benefit from you. You're not brothers and sisters. You're basically moochers. Just eating off what we built. You ain't built shit up here. We want you out of here. Go home and fix your country. We don't want you here. Yeah, I know 2 more weeks and I can't wait it's over. The only reason they extended 2 more weeks until they get the planes and stuff lined up to fly you to the various places, because they're not going to fly you back to Haiti. They're going to fly you to places that they've paid to store you. Yeah. But you ain't got to go home. But you got to get the fuck up out of here. And you, I'm going to leave you over here so you can see this. And this is where you're headed. This is what the 2 week wait is. You're either going to Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, right? The U.S. holds foreign nationals from Asia, Africa, and stuff like that. Third country agreement, all right? Yes, the U.S. is increasingly utilizing overseas foreign facilities to hold and process migrants and deportees through a series of third-party agreements and federal operations. Key locations and agreements include Guantanamo Bay in Cuba. The U.S. holds foreign nationals from Asia, Africa, Europe, and the Caribbean at designated immigration facilities on the naval base prior to deportation. Third country agreement, the U.S. has struck a diplomatic deals with various nations to serve as stopover points, transit restrictions, and final destinations for deported migrants. Countries that have accepted these groups include Costa Rica, Honduras, Panama, Rwanda, and Uganda. That's all they waiting is to get the planes ready to send your ass to Uganda, Rwanda, Panama, Honduras, and Costa Rica. That's all they waiting on. But you're out of here. Domestic operations. Despite these offshore efforts, the U.S. operates the largest immigration detention system in the world, managing tens of thousands of individuals across more than 200 mainland facilities, local jails, and renovated industrial sites. And not only the United States, but black Americans, we own y'all last. Those of y'all that's staying over here, y'all better get y'all shit together and y'all better act like y'all got some respect. Or we gonna get you some. It's really up with Haitians. We don't like you. I'm not pushing hate. I'm pushing dislike. You're not our brothers. You're not our sisters. We don't benefit from you. And you eating off our plate. Go back home and fix your damn country, okay? All right? And goodbye. I don't want you over here. I just wanted you to hear why they ain't send you home tomorrow. Because they got to prepare the planes to send you to Guantanamo Bay or somewhere in Africa, Sudan or something. But get the hell out of here and take her with you. And we sick of a lot of you blacks. We sick of y'all. The government doing you a favor. You see, Africa not waiting on the government. They going from house to house. And see, immigrants that go to these people places and they plan. But eventually the government won't be able to save you. Well, let them go to Haiti and build that. That's all. If you built America, why Haiti is a hellhole? How you built America but running from Haiti? Please, 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 please. And we ain't the only ones. We ain't the only ones. We ain't the only ones. Jamaica's policy of turning away Haitian migrants is driven by systemic resource constraints, domestic gang violence concern, and the absence of formal domestic refugee processing infrastructure, while the government has faced intense international scrutiny and human rights lawsuits for forced repatriation. Local authorities cite the following reasons for restricting migration. And one of the main reasons is Haitians is worthless. I can already tell you, and is a trouble and never add nothing benefit to nobody's society. Smoochers and troublemakers. Okay? Nobody wants you. The surge in deportations comes as Haiti faces one of its worst humanitarian and security crises in decades. Armed gangs now control much of the port of Prince. He talking about they built a country, but Haiti is a shithole and can't build Haiti. How you built something, but you can't build your homeland? Metropolitan area and key national roads, displacing more than 1.4 million people, according to the international organization. The collapse of economic activity, widespread hunger, and escalating violence continue to drive thousands of Haitians to leave the country despite mounting risk abroad. So you can't even fix your own country. You're constantly telling us all these achievements you got. Man, we don't want to hear that. Bye. You know what I'm saying? Bye. Go home and fix Haiti. You know what I'm saying? They ain't no goddamn foundational. Them niggas ain't no foundational shit. Them niggas is Jamaicans or Haitians. If you're foundational, you'll still be in the foundation. You in Jamaica, you a Jamaican. You in Haiti, you a Haitian. If your foundations don't move, and then you got a clown face. So who the hell gonna listen to somebody that ain't got no self-respect? That's a clown. Let me get you the hell out of here anyway. You a goddamn clown face. Why would I listen to you and you're a clown? You got a clown face trying to teach. Bro, you can't make this up. You don't even got no self-respect. And we don't know who you is with the clown face on. You could be a white person over here trying to mix up. Yeah, foundations don't move. How you foundational? You in Jamaica, and Jamaica's raggedy. The Chinese built their highways and they paying them. Jamaicans, they ain't doing shit in Jamaica. They won't build Jamaica either. Jamaica raggedy. The Chinese built their highway. They paying the Chinese, but they ain't doing nothing in Jamaica. They're not fixing up Jamaica. The Jamaicans don't do. The Jamaicans down there fighting over Kentucky Fried Chicken. Oh my soul. The Jamaicans down there fighting over KFC chicken. Ask somebody. They ain't doing nothing either. I ain't lying. I don't hate on them or nothing, but we got our own problems. We ain't no damn brothers. Them ain't my goddamn brothers. You ain't my brother if you ain't my brother. You ain't my goddamn brother. We don't want no brothers. 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 Foundation of Black Americans, we don't want no brothers. We fine. Y'all, the rest of y'all go be brothers. Why we gotta join in? You brothers, go be brothers with the other people. We don't want to be your goddamn brother. We've been over here struggling by ourselves. He was a shitty ass brother. Because everything we had to do it by ourselves. And all y'all brothers came over here after the coast was clear, after we did all the hard work. Then you ran your pussy asses over here. You ran over here after the work was done. You ain't no damn brother. We've always had to make it on our own. We make it on our own with the civil rights movement, on our own. We didn't have no brothers over here. You niggas didn't come over here till the 70s and the 80s. Y'all wasn't over here when there was no smoke. That's what our problem with black immigrants. Black immigrants waited until we did all that fighting. And then when they seen we got civil rights and we start getting stuff, they all ran over here. Every last one of you, I would tell any of you to your face. I was born in 1958. You was not here. All the Jamaicans and Africans started coming in the mid, some of them in the early 70s, but most of them came in the 80s, the 90s to eat off our plate. They was not running over here when we was getting them water hose sicked on us and all that. You wasn't here. Your punk ass was where you was at. And you only came over here when the coast got clear. And the thing about it, you won't even admit it and be like, you're right. No, you won't admit it. You wasn't here. You wasn't here. You wasn't here. You didn't do nothing to get on the bus. That's my problem with black immigrants. That's why my problem with black immigrants is foundational black Americans are the reason you can get your black ass on the bus. These brothers and sisters walked for a year. This is FBA. My mother and father born in Alabama. My mother had to hold my uncle. My mother was a little skinny girl. My mother had to hold my uncle that's younger than her and hold on with one hand going to school with her book bags, 9 years old. Because if my uncle bumped into a white man, they'd pull him off the bus and beat him bad or unalive. There was no Africans here. There was no Jamaicans or nobody to help my mama or my daddy or me. I'm born in 1958. I don't know you. I didn't meet you until the late 70s and the 80s. I don't know you or no Africans. Y'all was not here. Y'all came over here to eat off of our plate after we got free. Oh, the black America's doing good. I go to America. And that's when you came. That's the real story. That's when you came. And then you didn't come and you didn't link up with us none. You didn't. Africans came in, moved up on the north side, far away from us as they can, told their kids don't go around us. And we the reason they black asses came here. That's a fact. You didn't do nothing, okay? Nothing. You black immigrants didn't do shit. And if you're trying to tell me something, tell me the year your parents came here. Because they wasn't here then. Man, I'm not trying to hear no fake stuff. If you younger than me and you're from the Caribbean or something, or Africa, you can't even talk to me. Because you probably wasn't even born. You a little boy. Stay in a little boy place. A lot of people be talking to me. That's why I'm one of the most valuable on the internet. Me. Because I'm born in 1958. And if you wanna debate me, you're gonna have to state your year of birth to show me you was here. You seen it. And if you can't show me you was here, and you can't show me your mama was here when I was little, get the hell out of here. Listen, let me tell you something about you. I don't give a damn about you. Go home. I don't care nothing about you. I'm not gonna debate with you. You want to debate with me? Come outside and debate with me on the block. So we can get some understanding. Because you don't seem to understand. But one thing about Chicago, we can bring understand. We can make you understand you different. You not us, and we don't give a damn about you. Go home. Okay? We don't care. We're fed up with other blacks. These is our heroes, not you. This the woman. The reason your black ass ride the bus. And see, that's why I don't like black immigrants. Because they don't honor none of the history that got them free here. They always trying to insert themselves into it some kind of way. And don't show no damn respect. They don't show no respect. They don't. They show no respect. They always trying to insert themselves in. They won't never say you right. The only reason we can get on the bus is because of Rosa Parks. They won't say that. They won't. They won't say that. They won't. Now, anybody that know the history and won't own up to the great things you did, why would you like them? Why would we like you? Why? Show me an African on this bus or a Caribbean. Show me one. Show me an African on the bus with her. I'll wait. Show me a Caribbean on the bus. When she sat down and these white people didn't want her to sit down. How many of you black immigrants was there to help the sister? Because I don't remember you. And ain't no way we gonna like no people that come off of our history and won't respect our history. That show is right there. You ain't no good. You're no good. To be honest with you, black immigrants are a disgrace to our race because there's no way I would go to South Africa and not honor Winnie Mandela. But black immigrants will come to this country and not honor other black people that made it for them to come to this country. Ain't no way we want to be around nobody like that. These are people, the reason I could go outside. Listen, I'm a foundational black American. But this the reason I could get on the bus. I couldn't even get on the bus without her. How the fuck you come from somewhere and you don't want to respect that you couldn't get on the bus? I couldn't even get on the bus without this lady. And I'm born here. But I didn't put my life on the line to get on the bus. She put her life on the line for me to get on the bus. And if you can't get on the bus, what make your black ass think you would have been able to get on a plane without Rosa Parks? Your ass would still be in Ghana, Nigeria, wherever, because you wouldn't have been able to get on the plane. Which one of you black immigrants believe that during this period you could get on the plane? (1955). Which one of you black immigrants believe that in 1955 you could get on a plane with white people and come to the United States? That's why I don't like y'all. That's why I don't like y'all. I do not individually, but I do not like y'all. I don't like you. I just don't. I don't like black immigrants. I don't like you. Because you here on somebody else's blood, sweat, and tears. I don't like you. You don't even respect what I did and my OGs did. You just bring your black ass here and go to school, but we fought for you to go to them schools. My OGs had to fight to go to school. Well, that's a fact. The only reason I didn't have to fight to go to school because the boys 3, 4, 5, 6 years older than me did it. Michael Mosley, Charles Mosley, bruh, Ludi. They would get chased on Michael Haskins. I could tell you the names. That would run home from Finger and be all beat up and stuff and patch themselves up and group up and go back up and fight up at Finger. It wasn't no white flight just because we moved. There was white flight because it was black fight. I respect my ancestors that fought for me to walk around here, black immigrants are, like I said, are the worst. I don't like them because they do not know or they don't study nothing. How the fuck you come here and don't study no black history or nothing about the civil rights movement? You just ride walking around and you don't study how you was here. I'm one of the people that left for public school and they sent to a Lutheran school of the seventh grade, and you had eighth graders that was racist, and I had to knuckle up. Then you come over here and go to all these schools, but you don't know we fought for you to go to these private schools. We fought for you to live in these neighborhoods. We fought for you to walk around here. You couldn't even walk around here. You wouldn't have been able. No, you would not be working in no hospital or nothing. No, you would not. Talking about how smart you are and where you work at. Without us, you would not be able to work in these white people buildings. This stuff was white people stuff. And they had certain jobs for your black ass. And your black ass would have been here from Nigeria, wherever. You would have been working on the train, putting bags on the train. That would have been your job. Ain't nobody asked for y'all niggas that came over here. Y'all came over here because your country raggedy. Who you fooling? You came over here because your country raggedy. That's why. Because if your country was nice, you wouldn't have left it. If somebody asked you to come and you come, why'd you come? Because you couldn't wait to get out that shithole you was in. Get the hell out of here. And if your healthcare work was so good, then why it ain't no good where you from now? If you came from Africa and you helped us so much with healthcare, why Africa suck when it comes to healthcare? And if you're so great, why ain't you on your own social media? Why you over here? Why you ain't on your African social media or your Haitian social media? Why you ain't on your, if you're so smart, why you ain't on your African YouTube? Huh? Where's your African shit? Go over there. And if you're so great, get off the internet and come outside and be disrespectful outside so we can show you the difference between you and us. Don't hide on the internet like no punk. And this is what I'm talking about. And see, so when these people get on here and play with us, then it boils over outside. I'm showing you what's going on in Africa right now. Because when they tell you in South Africa to leave, the rest of y'all get all on the internet playing with the South Africans, and so then the South Africans turn and make things more rougher. So all of these blacks that be playing with us on this internet, what you're going to do is, it's a high possibility you're going to make it come off the internet. Then when it come off the internet, you're going to be begging and pleading because you're just talking, but we're not playing at all. And that's why I was trying to tell them that this is South Africa and this is the U.S. Hold that thought. And all of that trolling on the internet, remember I told y'all, making it worse, making more and more of us not like you. I told y'all, not only not like you, we ain't coming to your country, you're going to go broke. We ain't going no Africa. Watch tourism in the Caribbean, in Africa, from black, watch tourism tank. Boom. We're gonna start going to our own cities. We ain't coming over there. You're gonna lose all that tourist money. The Republicans gonna throw you all out. You're gonna lose all them jobs. All them jobs you say you were a little smart and get. Trump and them gonna take it away. For sure, black people gonna vote for the Republican Party for the presidential election. because the Democrats ain't gonna win because they might let y'all back in there. Trump won because we didn't want you to come back. And they thought that Harris was gonna let you come back, let you stay. There, I said, they're gonna vote for J.D. Vance for president. There's no way I'm voting for a Democrat. The last Democrat I voted for was Harris. And thank God she didn't win. I ain't gonna lie. Thank God she didn't win. Because this place would be a third world country. And one thing I can speak for black Americans, we don't want no black people over here that ain't our allies. We don't want no black people that look down on us. We don't want no black people because we invented all this shit. Let me show you something. He said the reason they came over here because they did so much, right? Let me tell you something. They ain't did shit. Everything was done over here. They wasn't even over here. But here go the thing. You said you did everything, and this for black immigrants. You said we came over because we was great. That works against you because everybody gonna say, okay, go home and be great. It's gonna work against you because not everybody want to see all that greatness. So everybody gonna be like, well, okay, if you so great and you came and you saved America, save your country. Let's see. See, they're not smart either. Because what is everybody gonna say if you keep saying you built America, you did all, you so great? Everybody gonna be like, all right, take your ass back to Nigeria, take your ass back to Ghana, take your ass back to Ethiopia, take your ass back to where you at, and be great. Let's see. Let's see. We don't believe you. Because every one of these blacks talk about how great they came here and helped. All their countries is shitholes. For some reason, they can't do shit at home. You can only do great stuff up here, huh? Because our great inventors was foundational black Americans. I don't know what nobody told you. I don't know what nobody told you. But what I do know, you're not really that educated either. You know what I'm saying? One thing I found out that they don't really know that much either. They don't. Not like that. Don't nobody want no African doctor or nothing? Hell no. None of my friends. We've been doing this. Man, we've been inventing. We've been doing this. Now the Democrats cannot win. The Democrats got to lose. Black people got to go. Black people get over here talking about vote for the Democrats. We gonna dog you. We gonna cuss you out. The Democrats ain't finna win nothing, man. The Democrats ain't finna win nothing. They not gonna get no black votes. Most of these people is white anyway. So white Americans is like 270 million. It's only 50 million of us. And white Americans is gonna vote Republican. They not gonna vote for no damn Democrat. Because even if they don't really like the Democrat, they hate immigrants worse, especially black ones. But black immigrants don't know that. Black immigrants don't believe in racism. They tell black Americans that we don't go nowhere because we don't work hard. Okay, we're going to see. You say you work real hard. Watch. They're going to let all the white immigrants in. They ain't going to let none of you black immigrants in. But according to you, you're such a great worker, they can't live without you. Okay, hold that thought. They're going to show you. they're going to show you how much they cherish you're a black genius. Because all these black doctors and nurses, they all going to get laid off and sent home. Over the next 3 years, all of these black professionals, they're gonna lose their jobs. All them African doctors and shit, they're gonna all lose their jobs. I'm telling you. One of the reasons the Democratic Party failed is because of black immigrants. Black immigrants is the reason that the Democratic Party failed because they blocked our progress, which pissed everybody off, which make them not want to vote Democrat no more. Because they went and hired a bunch of tethers that pretended they was brothers and sisters. Because I remember the whole thing. That whole movement, like, we are black people, is how they played it. They always play that, we are black people, until they get in the door.